Welcome back to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. Today on the show, I'm very glad to bring you a movie here that's always been near and dear to my heart. I've always loved this movie. I remember seeing it the day it came out in theaters, and when I heard that it was getting a 4K release, I had to pick it up. Now, this did come out a few months ago, but I wanted to review it because it's one of these movies that was shot in a very different way, especially for its time. And it's a movie I think is fantastic, and that is the Michael Mann film Collateral, starring Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Mark Ruffalo is also in this, and again, directed by the great Michael Mann, who is one of my favorite directors of all time. This is a heck of a movie. This is, in my opinion, Tom Cruise's best performance he's ever done in a film. He is really fantastic as Vincent the Assassin, hitman type guy. That gets involved with Jamie Foxx's character, who is a cab driver. And really love this movie. It's shot all at night in LA, and I really love the look of this film. It was shot between a mix of film and the kind of early digital film that was kind of emerging at the time. Now a lot of movies are shot digitally or just on film. But this is one of the first movies I'd seen, a big budget movie that used, partly digital photography. And that kind of excited me to see how this would look in 4K, because the movie does have a very particular look. This and two other Michael Mann films, Public Enemies and Miami Vice. Also a movie called Black Hat. He continued that same type of photography. So those three movies, I should say. And really, I've always loved this movie. This has always been a favorite of mine. Ironically enough, I was actually in LA at the time when they were filming this movie. And I remember actually I was there with my mom, and this was obviously many years ago. This is from 2004. But I remember running into a roadblock in LA late at night with her, and they were actually filming the sequence where Jamie Foxx flips the cab in the film. And it's kind of a really interesting little side note there, but I had to mention it, so I have like a strange little connection to this movie, which is really funny. But I wanted to kind of channel Tom Cruise's character in this, so I got a little fancied up today. But, this is a movie that it's been on Blu-ray for a while, and the Blu-ray transfer is not that bad. It's actually a really good transfer. But I wanted to see what this 4K version looked like with the Dolby Vision HDR and really compare it to the Blu-ray and see if it was worth the upgrade. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about the video aspects of this disc. Like I mentioned, it is a Dolby Vision HDR disc, which is really cool. And I did watch it in Dolby Vision, and I have to say, the movie looks amazing. So the movie was shot partly on a kind of early digital format with these, I think, digital Sony cameras. And it really lends the look of this movie a very interesting particular look. It almost has like a digital noise to it at times, where you can see like blurring of movement and stuff like that. But the look of the movie, especially since it's very late, the whole movie takes place at night, it really looks incredible. And the dark levels in this disc, the one thing I had to talk about was the black levels on this disc are really the biggest improvement on this 4K transfer. To me, the black levels looked really, really good on this. They were nothing to sneeze at with the Blu-ray, but the HDR on this brings out two really specific things. One of which is that color. The Dolby Vision really does bring out a lot more vibrant colors. Headlights on cars, the street lamps, halogen bulbs look a little different on this. The nightclub scenes in the movie, there's two in particular. They look absolutely amazing on this disc, and that HDR, the Dolby Vision, really brings that out on this, and I was really glad to see that. The other thing, of course, is the black levels, and the movie doesn't look extraordinarily different as a whole. It is still kind of the, the Collateral that you remember, but seeing it now in 4K with the HDR and everything, the black levels are much better balanced on this disc than they are on the Blu-ray. You get again, at times, a darker picture, but that HDR really balances everything out well. The big thing is going to be, is your TV going to handle, or your projector, or whatever, is going to handle those black levels well? One thing I have to say is definitely make sure your TV is calibrated correctly. I do get a lot of comments on my video where, oh, this nighttime scene was way too dark and this was way too bright. Well, make sure that your system is calibrated correctly, because if it's not, you're going to have problems with light and dark. On my TV, I'm going to show some clips as I'm talking about this here, but you're definitely going to see those black levels look really interesting. I thought they looked much better than the Blu-ray. I didn't see a giant difference in terms of detail level. Watching the standard Blu-ray upscaled to 4K and then switching over to Dolby Vision here for this 4K, I noticed that, colors were the biggest difference. The black levels were the biggest difference. Detail level, again, not a crazy difference, but I think that lends more to the fact that this film was shot on a format, mostly on a format that doesn't really lend a whole lot to detail level, but the picture still looked very, very nice. Not a whole lot of grain in the picture. What was there is more like a digital noise than anything, which is something that you do not get now with most of these movies that are shot digitally, just because the technology has improved so massively since 2004. So again, keep that in mind. Picture-wise, was it a major upgrade? In certain aspects, yes, and in certain aspects, no. It's kind of a mixed bag. Did I enjoy the way this disc looked? Yes, I did. I thought it looked really good. Now, for the audio is a different story. The audio on this is the same DTS 5.1 master audio mix that was on the older Blu-ray, and this set here is a 2-disc set. It does include the standard Blu-ray as well as the 4K and a digital copy that does redeem in 4K, which was cool, but the audio mix is exactly the same. I didn't notice any differences in quality. The audio on the standard Blu-ray was great, no issues with that. Sound effects are very loud and clear. It is a very good sound mix. It's basically a perfect sound mix. Gunshots really boom and are loud. Audio in terms of dialogue is crystal clear. The music that's in the movie sounds fantastic. I didn't sense any issues at all with the audio because it's really the same as the old one. It is the same as the old one, so nothing new there. But again, would I have liked to have a Dolby Atmos mix of this? I think it would have been a bit nicer. But again, the audio track that's on here, that's that older 5.1 track, it's fine. It really does a great job. I didn't sense any issues with it. It's the same old mix that if you've seen this movie before, you've heard. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Other than that, the movie does come with a bunch of special features on the standard Blu-ray disc. There are no special features on the standard. On the 4K disc, I should say. They're all on the standard Blu-ray. There's a making of. Basically, it's all the same older special features that were on the other Blu-ray. It's exactly the same disc. No real differences there. There's a deleted scene. They actually also talk about how Tom Cruise did he did a whole deal where in order to kind of get into character and blend in as Vincent, he actually did a delivery route as a package delivery guy. And it's really crazy, but he really did this. And there's a little special feature on the Blu-ray that talks about that, which is pretty funny. Talking about, different locations that they shot at, rehearsals with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, and how they did the visual effects for the end scene of the film where they're on the MTA train, which is another really good scene in the movie. But overall, what did I think of Collateral? I thought it was a very good 4K disc. Again, if you have a 4K Blu-ray player and you have a nice home theater setup, this is a really great disc to have. Is it worth an upgrade over the Blu-ray is the big question. It really depends on if you're a fan of this movie. If you have the standard Blu-ray already, is there a big difference? In picture quality, there is a good amount of differences, but is it massive enough to warrant an upgrade? It's going to be dependent on you. If you're a fan of this movie like I am, then this is kind of a must-buy, honestly, because this is the best this movie is probably ever going to look. Is it a massive upgrade? Not really, but the 4K really does help out the black levels, and the colors are a bit nicer, so I did enjoy that. But, I mean, it really is up to you. I'll leave the choice up to you if you think it's worth it. I definitely think it's worth checking out. It's a great film, and a fantastic performance from Tom Cruise in this. Really, like I mentioned, it's his best film, hands down. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. But that's all for today for Cavanaugh's Corner. I want to say thank you for coming back to the channel. If you enjoy videos like this, give me that thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel so I can bring you more content like this. Very exciting to now be doing these videos in 4K with HDR so I can actually show you clips of the film and you get a better handle on what the movie would look like if you were right there in the room watching it with me. So very cool. Until next time, please stay safe and take it easy.